Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I was going through my prepping supplies. It's always a good day to be trying to organize, take an inventory, make sure you have everything that you need. Well, today I was going through some of the little items, the little prepping supplies, the little niceties that keep our life running smoothly, take up very little room, and can be extremely helpful. So I was going to share some of those little prepping supplies with you in case you want to quickly add that onto your list of things you need to figure out where they are in your home, or if you need to replace them or add a few into your prepping supplies. These aren't in any particular order, they're just random, and I'll just go through them and show you some ideas of little prepping supplies you might want to have on hand. I have a few different types of glues or adhesives, a fix-it-all adhesive and some little tubes of super glue. It's simple to pick up a little pack of glue because when you need glue, you need it now. You don't want to have to put it on the list, remember to pick it up at the store, search for it in the hardware store, and then come back and remember where are those pieces you wanted to put together. So it's so handy if you have different kinds of adhesives and glue on hand. Super glue never tends to last, and something I learned a few years ago is that even if you buy the single use so that you don't have to worry about you opened it and then it dried up, they still dry up. It doesn't last forever. It would be nice if you could put something like this away and think that it would last as long as your rice and beans, but they don't. And so you want to make sure that you're checking over your adhesives and your glues to make sure they didn't dry all up inside the tubes or the little bottles and they're not useful anyway. So check over those things, see if you need to add a few more. It's nice to have a variety of tapes. We always hear as preppers, oh, you need your duct tape. But sometimes that's not the only tape you need. And I recently found Wrap and Repair silicone tape that it's adhesive-free tape, bonds permanently, and creates a water and airtight seal. Now, I'm not sure exactly where I might want to use that, but it could come in handy for even leaking gutters, things like that. Little drips that are coming in around the window. I think there might be a lot of ways that I might want to use this, so I want to have options in my arsenal of adhesives, tapes, and tools. Do you have plenty of clothespins? These are handy for hanging up clothes to dry, of course, but even if you're putting your winter gloves and mittens into a big basket so people can grab them on the way out the door, clip them together so that they're there as a pair and people don't have to dig around looking for them. It's also a nice way to put away your garden gloves. You can clip them and then just hang them over something to make sure they're dried up and shake off any mud or dirt later on. Clothespins are nice to seal up things like chip bags in your pantry and maybe bags of frozen food that you open and take out a few items, and you can clip it closed at the top and then your food will remain fresher, better, longer, and hopefully not spill all out of the bag either. Sponges can be loaded with germs, and I do regularly toss them and replace them. I also put them in the dishwasher, run them through, squeeze them out, and that helps them last longer and be more sanitary. So make sure that you have a fresh supply of your cleaning supplies, even down to the little sponge. Think about little tools. You can pick up a manicure set and you get nail clippers, tweezers, emery boards. The whole little set can have a little bit of an assortment of tools, and those are going to be handy for a lot of different reasons. You can put them in your bathroom, you can put them with your first aid supplies, maybe you even want to have one in the car. If you're ever out and about and you get a torn fingernail or a splinter, you could reach into your glove box or your little emergency bag you have in the car and you can take care of any kind of little emergency. Nail clippers are also handy to have with you most of the time because we run into little things that we need to cut open or cut off, and you can do it with nail clippers where scissors would be better, but a lot of times nail clippers will really do the trick. Do you have pets? Make sure you have an extra leash. Keep one in your car. Keep one with your emergency gear. If you have to bug out in a hurry, the last thing you want to do is lose your pet. And so if you have one of these, even if you jump into the car and you take off and you can't find it or something, you can have an extra one in your car so that you can quickly clip onto your pet and help get outside, walk them, get them to safety. I keep extra leashes in my car. I keep them with my bug out gear. I like to have them around. I don't have to worry about my little teddy getting loose. I'll be able to keep track of him and keep him safe. Have plenty of poop bags. They're not only great for picking up dog poop, You can use them for just little gloves in an emergency if you need to, because you can put them over your hands. If you need to move rocks or you need to pick up sticks, any kind of dirty things that you need to do in an emergency, you could use a poop bag, just put it over your hand so that you keep clean from some of the icky tasks we might end up encountering on a crazy day. I was reading in the news recently where somebody was complaining on an airplane that they were stuck on the tarmac and the bathrooms weren't open, and a child had to go to the bathroom in a plastic bag. And I thought, what's wrong with that? They figured it out. I thought that was pretty reasonable, and it was clever, and it got the job done and kept everything contained. Why is that something you go berserk and you need to sue the airlines? Aren't you glad you had a plastic bag? Can you imagine what could have happened if the child had wet themselves or peed on the seat in the airplane? Aren't you glad you figured it out and you made the best of an emergency situation? Try to see that as you solved a problem, that rather than you need to blame somebody for a hardship, be glad you have the inner strength to figure it out and then get going with your day. Dark nights are here. Have you got some solar lights? You can pick up the regular little yard lights, and they usually have a tab that activates them, but don't activate them until you're ready to use them. If you have extras for an emergency, you can put these with your emergency gear, and then if the power goes out, you can get it out, pull the tab, and it's activated, ready to go. If you already have them activated, you have to keep them charged in the daylight. And this way, if the power goes out at night, there's not a problem that you didn't set it out and get it lit up, that it's going to work just fine. They come off the stick. They have another stick if you want to put them in the yard. Stick them down in the deep snow. You can still reach to the top, and you can even take the tops off, and then you could put it even on a jar or something, or set it this way if you wanted to, like, not use this. They're easy to use, they last a long time, and you'd be surprised how bright they can be at night if you've never used these. This solar light is something I found recently at the Dollar Tree when I was in the lower 48, and I think it's great. It has a nice big solar panel, and it looks like a light. It has the stake in it, but see, it's flat, and you can just set it on a counter in the bathroom, on the table in your house, in your children's room, and it looks like just a nice little emergency light. It doesn't look like a yard light from Dollar Tree, does it? So if you can find some of these, pick them up. I wish I'd gotten some more. And if you want them for the yard, the stick is there. It's just in the bottom. Don't think the stake is missing. You just pull it out and turn it around. And there it is. And yes, it does come apart. You wouldn't have to use even any of this. You could set it like that. But I think it looks better with the base. And of course you would take off the sticker for it to look the best. But I think this is a handy little light. I'm glad I have a few of them. I wish I had more. Heavy winds, winter storms, hurricanes, tornadoes. Power goes out for all kinds of different reasons. Have some emergency candles, even some little tiny ones. But if you're going to get the little small ones, they don't last very long, so make sure you get a big pack of them. The bigger the candles, the longer they usually last. So you can look even for 5-hour emergency candles. You can even get the big candles in a jar. There's all kinds of different candles you can find. I've read many times people are saying pick them up at thrift stores, but I have never seen candles cheap at thrift stores. It's uncanny that you want a used dirty candle when you could go to the store and pick up a package of them for about the same price that they asked at the thrift store. Maybe that's an Alaska thing, I don't know, but if you've ever found candles at a bargain at a thrift store, leave it in the comments below, because I would sure like to hear if that really works or people are just guessing that that's a good idea. Along with your candles, pick up some extra matches, and I like the long utility lighters, because then even if you put your candle down into a jar, you can reach down in and light it. These are great for lighting the barbecues, gas grills, fireplaces, fire pits, all kinds of things. So it's great to have the long utility lighters and some matches to boot. And the strike on the box matches have to have the strike plate on the box. Don't think that you can take them out and put them in a jar or something and add sandpaper. That's not going to work. There's a chemical on the strike plate and there's a chemical on the tip of the match, and when you strike it, it mixes those, combines them together, and that's what causes the fire. That's why Strike on the Box needs the box, or a lot of times they'll call them safety matches. If food storage is your thing, buckets of beans, rice, pasta, oatmeal, all kinds of different dried foods. And if you don't have a bucket wrench, please make sure you get one. The day may come when you really need to open those buckets and eat that food. You need to be able to get the lid off. It can be so hard on your fingers, sometimes you can't even get it open. So make sure that you get a bucket lid wrench so that you can pry open those buckets and get to that food if you need to. Cold and flu season, have some cough drops. Sometimes you can find them with vitamin C, and that's a nice supplement to have. Your body needs vitamin C every day. It can't store vitamin C. That's why sailors used to get like scurvy, that they would have bleeding gums and health problems because they couldn't get the vitamin C. They couldn't have fresh type, citrus type fruits that could help keep them well. So have some cough drops and perhaps some vitamin C as well. Eye drops, that's a nice little thing that I like to have on hand. And don't forget lip balm. You can find chapsticks. This one is Vaseline, which is also handy because you could put one in your bug out bag, and then in an emergency, you could rub it over a cotton ball and start a fire. You could do it with chapstick too, but it's sometimes nice to have the actual petroleum jelly because that works great for starting fires, more so than chapstick. But chapstick works, but the Vaseline petroleum jelly works the greatest. So be thinking about all the little items you might want. Sewing needles, spools of thread, eyeglass repair kits, tiny little tool sets. There's so many little things that can help keep our life running smoothly. So look over the things you have. Think about the things you need and what you would do in an emergency situation. The wind is blowing crazy here today, and if the power went out, I want to make sure that I have some candles and some lighters, some flashlights, and fresh batteries. Then it's also nice to have a camping stove, even little cans of sterno fuel. Look over your basics, make sure you have what you need. If you can think of any other small prepping items that we might have overlooked and we want to make sure that we buy them now too, leave it in the comments so we can think about those things and add them to our shopping and prepping list. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.